Hey designer friends, my name is Ron, and in today's video we're going to be building this bento design. You guys have seemed pretty excited about bento designs, and we'll be building this in Webflow. Now, this might look simple, but it's actually quite interesting to make sure that this is responsive and works well. So I'm pretty sure you'll learn a lot, whether you're a beginner or more intermediate Webflow user. Let's dive right into it. So we'll be working off this design, which I have here in Figma. And if you want all the resources to follow along this tutorial, you'll find them below this video. Now let's look at this and try to think how I'm going to structure this in Webflow. First thing to notice is that this design is set on a 5-grid design. You can see that it all aligns perfectly. The about and these boxes here, the works and this type, and everything is just aligned nicely. So this is the grid that we'll be using. Now, in terms of structure, first thing is I'm going to have to wrap everything inside of a wrapper. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that this takes up the whole screen, right? So to be able to size up and make sure that it's responsive no matter what your screen size is, I'm going to have to wrap it all inside of a section wrapper to make sure that I can size it to 100% viewport height. The next thing, and also probably set up the padding, the spacing from both sides so that it's equal, I'm going to use the wrapper to do this. Then I'm going to have to basically break it down into 3 groups, right? The navigation, the text content that we have here, and then the bento cards that we have at the bottom. And the reason I'll be doing this is so that I can manage them separately, even though they're all on the same grid, and theoretically, I can just throw in a 5-column grid and start putting the elements inside. It's not going to be very good idea when I'll start wanting to adjust these things for tablet and mobile. So I'm going to have to break them down into 3 separate elements. Also, you'll notice that basically, while the text elements at the top are kind of like fixed, these cards elements are probably going to have to resize based on how much screen size the person has. So it's going to be dynamic. All right, let's head into Webflow. I've got a new project here started. First thing I'm going to do is head and upload my assets, which again, you can follow along this. And also see what font we're using here. So this is using Montserrat, which is loaded by default into Webflow, which is great. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to go into my body and change the class to just the general body, all pages, and change that to Montserrat. So all fonts I'll be using are going to cascade from the body and going to use this. I can check out the font size. This one says 18. It feels a little big to me, so I'm going to change this to 16 and see how we're doing there. Okay, so I've got the basic setup down. We can go ahead, insert a section, give it a class of maybe hero section. And what I've mentioned is I want to set the height. So I'm going to set that to 100% viewport height, which means that it's going to take 100% of the screen no matter what the height of the user screen is. The next thing, I'm going to hold Option and Shift to give padding from all sides, and 30 sounds about right. So now I've got padding on all sides, and that looks great. So I've got the basic structure right. Now let's bring in these 3 wrappers that we have. So I can just Command E to bring in quickly a div and copy paste that, so that we've got 3 divs. Now, in general, they're all going to use the same grid, right? The 5-column grid, each one of these 3 groups are going to use the same grid. So we can actually create a class for this div block. Let's call it 5colgrid, and change that to a display setting of grid. Give this 5 columns. I don't need the second row right now, so I'm going to delete the second row, delete this row. Let's adjust the gap here to 30, which sounds about right. Okay, so we've got the grid, and we can reapply this class on these other divs that we've got here. So now we've got 3 groups that are aligned, that has the 5-column grid. Now the next thing I said is that I want this 3rd row, the bento boxes, to expand as much as possible after, these ones took as much space as they need. To do that, I'm going to have to go into the hero section that manage these 3 things. I'm going to turn that into a flex box and set that to vertically. Now that, first of all, allows me to give gap space between them. And now it's also going to give me this option here of to expand if possible. Now I don't want to set this up and they're all using the same class. So let me give this a combo class. Let's call this bento wrapper, because I just want to adjust the 3rd wrapper. Okay, so now we've got the first one for navigation, second one for content, and 3rd one. We've got the initial setup pretty much done. We can go ahead and start bringing in content. We've got this fake logo here. Let's bring that here from the panel. Let's drag that here. Now, basically, when you're dragging things into a grid element, they're going to go from, cell number 1, cell number 2, cell number 3. Now, the next thing that we have is works. So I'm going to go ahead and add a link. And that's going to be a text link. First of all, let's go ahead and style it. So let's give this a class of text or maybe nav link. By default, it's blue. Who knows why? Because it's 90s. So we're going to have to reselect black here, although it looks like a black. It's kind of like a weird bug. And I do want to remove the underline, so I'm going to do text decoration none. Now you can also see that it's aligned to the top of this cell that we have here, and I think it'll look better if it's centered. So I'm going to head into the grid child alignment center here. Now I think this looks good. We can call this works, and we can copy and paste that and do about. Now note, as I've mentioned, as I'm putting in elements, Webflow automatically puts them cell number 1, cell number 2, cell number 3, but I actually need them to be at cell number, let's bring in the grid so that we can see it. I need them to be at cell number 5 and cell number 4. So I'm going to need to override the position. So you can see here grid child position. I'm going to set that to manual, and I'm going to change that to 5 and 5. And I think I can also grab this and hold Shift. It's going to manually move them around this way. So it does the same thing. Overrides them into a manual position so that they're at port and 5. Perfect. That's great. Next thing that we have is this superb. Now, this superb headline is actually tricky because I want it to be responsive. I want it to grow, and if it's smaller, so I want the text to be a dynamic or responsive text size. Let's actually copy this. We can also see that it spans three columns. So let's head into the next one. Let's bring in an H1 because it's the biggest heading of the website. And let's make sure this spans 3 columns. Let's paste the text in here. And I'm going to give this a class. Usually best practice would be to adjust H1 for all the website, but this looks like a unique headline that we'll only use once. So I'm going to call it H1 homepage maybe. And let's go here into the text size and change that from pixels to maybe something like 13 viewport width, right? So now it's basically resizing based on the viewport width, and we can see that if I'm, changing the screen size, you can see that it's smaller, while you can see that the navigation links, they move, they are responding to the grid, but they're not changing in size while the heading is changing in size. So this looks okay, but we do need to give this a height, and let's do something like 0.9 and remove the property. And now it's basically just going to be 0.9 out of this. It's going to pull in from the size itself. And I think this looks okay. Let's go ahead and bring in this paragraph that we've got here. So I'm going to copy this text, select this call, bring in a paragraph, and paste this. And again, I'm bringing them in, Command E, that's a shortcut, and I can just write a paragraph. That looks good. I do want to align it to the bottom. So at the top here, I'm going to align it to the bottom. Now, while it's aligned to the bottom, we're designers here, and you want to pay attention to the fact that it's actually aligned to the bottom of this, not the bottom of the text in general, but the bottom of this. This is called baseline alignment. And this is important, right? This is important to make sure that your typography looks good. And right now, this is dropping. So I'm actually going to go ahead and give this class, let's call this P hero. And I'm going to give this a tiny bit more margin at the bottom. Yeah, just so that it's visually aligning to this bottom line here. Now, it's not super accurate, but visually, I think it looks good. All right, we've got the first 2 elements done. Now we're in the bento box. Okay, so here you can see that we actually have 2 rows at this point. Now, because this one already has a combo class of bento wrapper, I can actually go ahead and adjust the grid, and it's not going to affect the grids, this 5 call grid. It's just going to apply the modifier. Let's go ahead and bring in a wrapper for this image. So let's bring in a div and set this to 4 columns and 2 rows. We're going to call this main image. And inside of it, we're going to bring in an image and choose this image that we've got here. Okay. give this a class of image so that we can size it. Now, one thing that you want to pay attention to is that we do want this padding at the bottom, right? And because this image is very big, we can just make it sure it's 100%. It's pushing the third grid element below the screen size, below where we want it. So I'm just going to go back into this bento wrapper, into the third wrapper that is expanding. And I just want to make sure that if something overflows, goes outside, goes beyond like this image does, I want to clip it. So I'm going to set this to overflow hidden. And now you can see that even though the image is big, it's not going to crop outside. We can come to this image and we can make sure that it's, cover, set to cover. That basically means, it's going to be centered, I think, around what we have here. Let's set this to 100% and 100%. Just make sure. It doesn't affect much, but just make sure that it takes up the whole screen. All right, this looks good. Let's go ahead and create these boxes. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to grab the color from Figma. And basically, it's a div with round corners. Oh, did I add round corners here? I did not. Okay, so let's go here into the main image, and let's go down to round corners, radius 50. By the way, this would actually be a nice thing to show you because we're going to use the same round corners here and here. Maybe it's a good idea to turn this into a variable. So I can go ahead and add a variable. Let's call this round corners. And that way, if I want to reuse this or if I want to change this in the future, they're all going to be the same. So let's select 50 here. The reason we're not seeing this is because, again, the image is inside. We've got the image, you can see here below, inside the main image wrapper. And again, it's expanding outside of it. So that's why we're not seeing the round corner. If I'm going to go here into overflow hidden here as well and crop that, even though the image inside of this main image is expanding, the round corners are now cropping it. Okay, so now we want to bring in another div. So let's bring in a div. Let's call this color card, and let's give this a background color. See if I still have this. Let's give this round corners, and we can now pull in from the round corners automatically, so they're connected to the same variable. Let's give this a little bit of padding so the stuff that we bring in doesn't touch the edges. And what we want to bring in is icon and some text. Let's go ahead and copy the text. Let's bring in image and select this smiley icon. It's way too big, so I'm going to give this a class of icon and make sure that it's around 30, maybe and 30 here. Okay, let's bring in paragraph. Bam. Now basically, let's go ahead and copy that to the other one. Here we just need to change this to the other icon and to the other text, but we've got something wrong here with the alignment. They're all stacking to the top, and I want one of them to stack to the top and the other to the bottom. The way to arrange this is to turn this color card into a flex. So from the display setting, I'm going to turn it into flex, not horizontal. I'm going to stack them vertically, and in the justification, I'm going to set this, instead of stacking to the top, I'm going to set space between. Now this is great. The only thing we need to override is the color here. So let's pull in this blue color from Figma, and I'm going to create a combo class. Let's call this color blue, and go ahead and paste it here. All right, we basically have the design ready, but you can see, whoa, it's not responding too well right now. So first of all, we probably want to go here into the image and give this maybe a height of 100%. Okay, so now the image is responding better, and it's also centered. So this is good. But we can see that if we're moving here into a tablet, this already doesn't look, some things here doesn't look good. The navigation still looks good. This does not look good. So one thing I can do here is I can span this 2 columns, and this actually looks much better. So this is, but then it's, on one way, it looks better, and on one hand, I'm not sure I like that it's kind of like not aligning to these. Let's say that this is okay, and let's see what happens here. This is definitely not okay. So here, what I want to do is, let's go ahead and make sure that this spans all the columns, and this spans this way. So now it's basically kind of like 2 lines. This one, the image, actually the image we can make sure that it's, actually, I'm not sure that we need 5 columns for these images here. So let's go here into this 5 grid, which is just the Bento wrapper. So this is why it was a good idea to separate them. So now here I can remove columns and it's not affecting the top ones. Let's see if we're sticking with 2 columns. Let's see what that looks like. So maybe this is going to be 2 columns and this is also going to be 2 columns. Okay, this is a better fit with just 2 columns. Now we can definitely see that this doesn't work as well, what we have here in the navigation. So let's start dropping columns here as well. Let's see what we have now. Well, this is still not looking very good. Not actually, you know what? Let me undo that. Maybe we do want 3 columns here. 1, 2, 3. We can just close the gap, I think, between them. And we can change maybe the position now to auto and auto. Okay, so this now looks better. Here, what do we have here? Here we also have these, which we can close this way. I would also probably make this bigger. You know, now it's still 13 viewport width. Maybe this would look better this way. And this is way too big. So I'm going to decrease the padding that we have here. And I think also that on mobile, it's probably going to be a good idea to just have 1 column for everything. Okay, so now this is also responsive. And you can see that with Bento grids, you do want to have a lot of control over different breakpoints. And yeah, it makes sense now. Pretty powerful with the Webflow grid. I hope you learned something during this tutorial. Make sure to check out our other videos below and I will see you on the next video. Peace out.